Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Travel with Rick. I'm your host, Rick Howard, and want to welcome you to our weekly video blog dedicated to the most magical places on Earth. On this week's show, we have a great interview for you with Josh Damaro. Josh runs Adventures by Disney Vacations, and we recently sat down and talked with him a bit during the D23 Expo. And during our talk, Josh explained a bit about how they put the Adventures by Disney itineraries together, all the work and effort that they put into selecting the most unique experiences and the most unique hotels and dining locations in the specific areas that they go to. He explained to us how they don't just drop you off in a destination, but they actually make that destination come to life for guests with local experts and the people that explain it and take you into those destinations. We also talked about the enhancements for Adventures by Disney for 2012. We've got great new itineraries coming. An all new itinerary for France is coming. Yeah, they're keeping London and Paris, but now there's a France specific one. They're also expanding Australia to be a little longer and now include Tasmania. And for the first time ever, Adventures by Disney is going to Greece. That's one that we're real excited about. So I think maybe you can expect a 2012 Travel with Rick episode maybe in Greece to look for that. We had a great time talking with Josh about Adventures by Disney. He's been in this role for about a year, and you can tell just how much he loves his job and how passionate it is. And he says he has the greatest job in the world, planning and overseeing Adventures by Disney and creating great experiences for guests all around the world. So come with me and let's talk with Josh Damaro about Adventures by Disney. Come on.
A lot of stuff changing for 2012. First and foremost, we have a lot of folks like you have come on these trips and are coming back again and again. And so we want to make sure that we treat those people special, that we treat them a little bit different. So we have something that's called Adventure Insiders now. So if you've traveled with us before, which I know you have multiple times, you're going to be rewarded for that. So we're going to communicate to you a little bit differently. We're going to give you perks. You may open your mailbox one day and you're going to have a box in there from us. I won't tell you what it's going to be, but rest assured it's coming.
Yeah, tomorrow, if you put a box in my mailbox, I'm not sure.
I get that a lot. On top of that, we're going to add some experiences to your trip if you decide to book with us again. So folks that have come on trips multiple times, I'm going to give you a great example of that. If you come on multiple trips with us, we are actually going to pick you up from your home in a nice car service.
This is awesome.
Take you to the airport, you fly off, and then when you arrive home tired from your trip, we're going to pick you up and take you right back. And so we think what we want to do is add to the experience, and we want to make sure that people that have traveled with us feel different.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the nicest things about Adventures by Disney is that special treatment, those Disney differences that you just don't get anywhere else. And we've looked at other tour products and we've thought about other types of vacations. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that it really has changed the way that my family likes to travel. When you think that once you arrive at your destination and you get off the plane, you don't see your baggage anymore except when you're in your hotel room and it's time to unpack and then repack, and you put it out and it's just taken care of for you. And there's just so many special touches all along the way like that.
Yeah, there are a lot of examples like that. As I had said, I was just in Italy. This is my wife's first trip with us, and one of the major things that came out of this was, hey, listen, we didn't even fight the whole time that we were on the trip. And one of the reasons why is because you wake up every morning and the trip is laid out for you perfectly. You know exactly where you're going. Somebody's taking care of you. We're always one step in front of you. We're creating experiences that you would just not be able to find on your own or pull off on your own.
Right.
There was one night we were in Tuscany, beautiful Tuscany. And if you haven't been to Tuscany before, the hills of Tuscany and the farms and the wineries are better than any postcard will tell you. But we show up at this little hidden farm that only Disney can find, and we sit with the owner of that farm. She shows us how she makes pasta. Of course, we get to make pasta along with her. We do a barbecue with her. She's bringing out food and serving us, and we're sitting there over the hills of Tuscany, the sun setting, and it's just gorgeous. A glass of wine in front of you, kids are off playing, just fantastic. And those things stick with you for a long time.
They really do. We had similar experiences when we were in Germany, and 1,000-year-old castles in Trundleburg, and you're sitting on this beautiful terrace having trout that just a couple of hours ago swimming in the pond, right outside of literally the castle that we were staying in. I mean, our hotel was a castle. Yeah. And you're looking out over this beautiful valley. It's just incredible. And you're exactly right. There are memories that stick with you for a lifetime. That only, you couldn't stay in that castle, but you could maybe put a trip together that would be close to that in Germany. But those magical things that only Disney can do is what makes it so special, what makes it so memorable.
It is, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers have been to Disney World, they've been to Disneyland, they might be DVC members, they've been on the cruise, so they know what to expect from Disney. They know that it's going to be quality service. They know every detail is going to be paid attention to. And you know what? Things may not go right every single time, but when they don't, it gets fixed. And it's almost better than if it had gone right in the first place. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking all of that magic and we're bringing it on the road, and we're able to showcase that in the best places in the world. Right. We have some new ones for 2012.
We're excited about those, and we'll get to those in a second. I remember when we were talking a couple of weeks ago about doing this episode and bringing more Adventures by Disney information to our viewers, and we were talking about some of the hotels and some of the restaurants that you're planning and things that you look at when you put the trips together. So it's not just that we think, okay, where can we stay in Trundleburg that would be really nice, or where can we stay in Munich that would be really nice, or whatever city you happen to be in. You made the comment that you never want anyone to be sitting in a hotel and look across the street and go, wow, I wish we were in that hotel. And it's those kinds of things, to think if you're in a restaurant having dinner with your family and you thought, wow, that place down the street looked a little nicer, that'll never happen on an Adventure by Disney, right?
Never want that to happen. We will never pick a hotel to stay in or a venue to eat in from a book that we flip through. Anytime we develop a trip, we have trip developers that go out into that market. When we're selecting a hotel, we're not just saying what's the most expensive hotel, we're saying what is the best hotel for our audience, for our guests. And so we have our trip developers go in. They don't just go in and look at the rooms either. They meet the wait staff. They go into the kitchen. How clean is the kitchen? Right. They meet with the folks who clean the rooms. They look at the linens, literally going through all of this stuff. And we have some pretty high demands. And because we have the luxury of the Disney name, the hotels typically listen. But we always want to be in a situation where our guests are in the best, where they're eating the best. And we also have a community of folks like yourself who give us feedback constantly. Right. And we're very serious about that. We take that feedback, and if we thought something was great but the guest didn't, we make adjustments. And I think as we go into 2012, we sit down and we look at every single trip that's been developed, and we go through every single component of that trip, and where we need to make adjustments, we make adjustments. And so I think as Adventures by Disney continues to get a little bit older over time, it's only going to continue to get better and better. And if it's, we're getting the feedback that you talked about before, and people are coming back, you can only imagine where this is going to go.
Sure, sure. And one little example of that is the not the Wart Hotel, but Brooks Lake Lodge that we stayed at on Quest for the West. Yeah. The nice thing about that, it's a very small, very quaint hotel there, and Disney takes the whole thing for the time that the adventure's there. Guests on that adventure, you're the only guest in the hotel. Yep. And the food is fantastic. They really, really cater to you there. And the staff, they're excited when Disney comes in. I mean, they're making up the placard and they got everything out.
Example. Yeah, so we will not change that property. Yeah. The folks at the Wart love us, we love them. It's an exclusive resort for us, so we get to do things exactly the way you've experienced it, so you know what that can feel like. And we try and replicate that at all the properties we go.
Right. And Trundleburg was the same example. I know that castle has been changed on that itinerary, but when we were there, I think there was one other couple who were there on their honeymoon who were friends of the owners of the Trundleburg Castle was the reason they were staying there. But typically it would be the same thing with that property. Yeah. And even there are other guests there. I mean, for example, when we were in Munich, we were at the Kempinski Four Seasons, but still, it's a perfect place to stay in Munich. It's got the history, it's got the location, and that's what makes it so special, right? Yeah. It's just awesome, the way and the detail. The same things you expect when you visit, like you said, Walt Disney World, or to use an example outside of this business, but it's a good example. When you're in port on one of the Disney cruise ships, you never look at the ship next to it and say, I wish I was on that other ship over there. Yep. It's always the most beautiful ship in port.
Same philosophy.
And the same thing with this product. You're always in the best places, eating in the best restaurants. And very unique restaurants. You know, for example, when we had lunch in Jackson Hole at the Jackson Playhouse, you know, that's an experience there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a burger or a salad or whatever was on the menu, but it was dinner and an experience, or lunch and an experience there. So that makes it even more memorable.
I agree. You should work for us, I think.
I'm trying. I'm working on that. Yeah. Well, you know, we do our best, you know. So let's talk about 2012.
Yeah.
I know we're excited about a couple of the itineraries.
Yeah.
So what's coming new in 2012?
Well, first, in terms of the treatment of our guests, I talked a little bit earlier about we really want to pay attention to those past guests and make sure that they feel good about coming back. So that's that Adventure Insiders program that I talked about. All of the trips are essentially new, and when I say that, we're updating the components to reflect the input that's come from our guests, as well as making sure that there's no pointing and saying there's a better hotel over there.
So
we
just
always get the best places.
We just don't take the itineraries from last year and go, okay, got this one done, it's nailed down. Let's think about this one over here.
Never will happen. So we'll
look
always
at everyone.
Try and be innovative. We'll always try and add a special touch. So even if you decided to go on a trip 2 times, you're going to feel something different the second time that you go on it. That said, we still want to add new trips to our portfolio every year, so we're excited. I'm going to talk about 3, and I'll talk to you very high level, and if you want more information, we of course can get your fans more information.
Absolutely.
The first one, and probably the one that I'm most excited about, is Greece.
I'm excited about that one as well.
So Greece unto itself sells itself. It's a gorgeous destination. It's got a ton of history. It's beautiful, crystal clear waters. Beautiful things to look at. So we're of course taking that backdrop and we're going to make it something that only Disney can do. So we'll be in Athens, we'll be in Santorini, we'll be in Crete. We will be sipping wine, which I know you love to do. So there'll be plenty of time for you to do that.
Don't tell our secrets here, Josh.
There is obviously one of the first modern Olympic stadiums in Athens. We'll get an opportunity to have the junior adventurers actually compete on some level.
That's going to be
great.
Mini
Olympics, going to be fantastic. I said wine tasting. We'll also do wine stomping, so smashing the grapes and actually making that come to life for the guests. We'll do kayaking. There's a little island in the south of Greece called Spinalonga. We're going to do kayaking around there. It's uninhabited, old ruins. So this trip is going to be incredible. It's going to be the experiences are going to be very active and involve everyone. You know, we'll meet shepherds. We'll go up into the mountains of Crete. We'll make cheese. We'll if you want to milk the sheep, you can milk the sheep. I'm not sure I want to do that, but it'll be available.
Don't look for that for an episode of Travel with Rick either. I don't think I'll be milking sheep.
We're pretty excited. This trip, I have not personally been to Greece. I was along for the journey of the development of the trip through our trip development folks. But this is one I am super excited about going on. So Greece is going to be one of our signature trips this year.
Yeah, that one kind of slipped out. By the time you're watching this episode, from the time it was filmed, it's already been announced. But we kind of had a little bit of an insight to that one. And I shared it with my wife, Leslie, that there might be a possibility that Disney was going to Greece. And she was just so excited about that. So yeah, we're really, really looking forward to that. After the 11-hour flight home from Munich, my daughter said, I don't want to go to Europe for a couple of years. But once she heard about Germany, she was, okay, long flights are all right again. We're going back to Greece. So.
It's all doable. If you know where you're going, it's going to be fantastic. And if you're with Adventures by Disney,
it's going to be a fantastic trip. I'm so excited about that one. So we've got some other ones that are changing, some places we've been.
So another one that's going to be new this year. We're in France already, as you know, but we have a completely new trip to France that we're doing. And this trip is going to take place in kind of the northwest section of France. So we'll be in Normandy in the Loire Valley. We're going to start up in Versailles. We're going to actually get
great
into
wine country. This is awesome.
I know which ones to pick with you. I know you. In fact, you should travel with me because I think we get along on that part. So we'll start up in Versailles. We're going to go into Monet's gardens. Of course, we're going to get in there, and the junior adventurers will get to paint. And if you have any artistic flair to you, you'll actually get to paint.
I don't, but you know, my daughter just turned 18 this year, and 4 years ago we did London and Paris. And still, it's been 4 years, but my daughter still talks about riding a bicycle through the gardens at Versailles because at that time, being 13 or 14, the adventure guide, the junior guides, took them up the hill, kind of a different path than the adults were riding on the safe part of the garden. And they went down this big hill, and that was the biggest thing to her. She thought that was just so cool to ride a bicycle down, to ride her bike down through the gardens. And I remember just going through there with my family, how much fun it was to get on those bikes. We had lunch at a great little cafe there, and just riding through those gardens. It was just so beautiful. And it's so different than the way Americans are. Their families out on the out on the lake and out just in the park there, just out lounging and enjoying the day. And it was just so wonderful. So that was a highlight of that trip for me. It was the Gardens of Versailles.
I'm going to come to another highlight on this trip in a second, which I think is kind of over the top and something that only Adventures by Disney would do. So Gardens of Monet, painting. Okay, then we're gonna head off. We'll go to the island of Mont Saint Michel. If you've ever seen a picture of that castle, it's very Disney-esque and very magical and fantastical. So we'll do that. Then we're actually going to go to Normandy, and this is going to be somewhat of an emotional part of the trip. We're going to, of course, program in a way that's very interactive. Talk about the rich history that the U.S. had there and how meaningful it is to us. I'm going to leave some of that to surprise, but it's going to be a fantastic part of the trip. We're going to circle then back down to Paris. And here we'll do a whole bunch of great stuff, but I wanted to just focus in on one thing. As you know, and as some of your guests know that have gone on trips with us, we have a farewell dinner. And there are some surprises at that farewell dinner, which I won't disclose, but there are some fantastic things that happen at that farewell dinner. What we're actually doing is we'll have that farewell dinner in Paris at the Louvre, in the Louvre. So this is something that obviously nobody else has access to, and because we're Adventures by Disney, we're going to get to pull that one off. So it's going to be it's the fireworks essentially at the end at the end of an experience.
Yeah, and again, that's just one of those things that makes Adventures by Disney so special, because there are so many things on each itinerary that you look at that a guest couldn't do on their own. If you planned a trip to Paris, you couldn't just go to the Louvre and say, I'd like to have dinner there tonight, or to be able to go behind the scenes at Mary Poppins, which we did when we were in London. I know it's a different show now, but so to do those types of things that, because of the Disney brand and the Disney name, that you're able to intertwine those types of activities, those special, once in a lifetime things, it makes it so special for the guests.
Yeah. So we think this one's going to be really special. Super, super excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we got Greece, we got our new trip to France.
Right.
Then the last one I want to talk about is not necessarily a brand new trip, but it's significantly different and I think significantly more exciting than it's been before, and that's Australia. It's not just Australia, it's Australia and Tasmania. So our Australia trip has everything that you would expect of an Adventures by Disney trip. We start up in the northeast section in Cairns in Australia, Great Barrier Reef. Of course, we're going to do snorkeling. We head inland into the middle of Australia, where we get to meet with the Aboriginal tribes. We see Uluru. You're really in the outback, so it feels like a lunar landscape. Spectacular out there. We're out there for a couple days. Then we head back down towards the beach to Sydney, and we're in Sydney for a couple days. All new package of experiences that we're doing in Sydney. We're going to be doing a Sydney Harbor cruise. We're actually going to get in the Opera House. You know the Opera House, that beautiful white structure. Not only are we going in, but we're going to get a special performance while we're in there. Again, very interactive and something that you'll probably remember for a long time. You'll get some free time in Sydney. There's some spectacular things like to climb over the Harbor Bridge. You can actually get on some pulleys and climb over the bridge. We're going to give you an opportunity to do that. And then we're heading to Tasmania. Now, a little behind the scenes stuff here. So as we thought about the Australia trip, we knew we wanted to extend the trip. We knew we wanted to be about 12 days, because if you're flying all the way over to Australia, you want to have a rich and long experience and make that flight worthwhile. So we thought, what else could we do? New Zealand obviously came to mind. A lot of people go to New Zealand. So we went and checked it out. Now, New Zealand is, when it's summer here, it's winter in New Zealand, but it's really winter in New Zealand. It's not just a little chilly with a shawl type of thing, it's snowing and it's cold. And it's also a decent distance from Sydney to New Zealand. So we said, let's see if there's anything else. And we said, let's go check Tasmania out. Again, the trip development team goes down, and they came back wide-eyed. Tasmania is very, very underexplored. It's very underdeveloped. There's a lot of adventure kind of built in. So we'll go down and we'll do things like zip lining, like we do in Costa Rica, zip lining over an ancient eucalyptus forest. More wine. Okay, so I can see you on this trip. Again, you obviously get to see the Tasmanian devil. We have beautiful hikes. The water down in Tasmania, if you like clear, tropical water, is crystal clear. So we do kayaking in an area called Coles Bay, and when you put the kayak in the water, it looks like it's floating on air. It's literally that clear and that pristine and untouched. So this is going to be an absolutely fantastic experience. The trip will end in Tasmania, and we think it's going to be pretty popular going into 2012.
Awesome.
So again, those are the three.
Those are the three new ones.
All the other trips have been updated and feel new.
So in addition, we still have Backstage Magic, which we're doing June 24. We have a group going there, so if you want to go with us, June 24,
fantastic trip.
2012. That's a fantastic trip. Quest for the West we've been on. I had a glimpse of the Midwest, or the Mid-East. Not sure what that trip is called, DC. So we did
Spirit of America.
Spirit of America.
Yeah.
We did a glimpse of that, which is an incredible trip. As you mentioned, the Italy trips are just fantastic. So there's so many there. Still London and Paris. So
South Africa, Rockies, all over Europe, Peru.
Costa Rica,
Costa Rica, Machu Picchu,
right?
So
the Galapagos.
There's a ton of stuff to it, and we'll keep adding to it and keep adjusting it. So anybody interested is always welcome to call. If anybody ever wanted to know more about the trip, we have trip developers that I'm happy to let people talk to anytime.
And our agents at Kingdom Magic Vacations are more than happy to talk with you about planning an adventure by Disney for your family and for anyone special with you. It really, and I know I say this over and over, but it is the truth. It has changed the way, and I've been in the travel industry for going on 20 years now, and it's changed the way my family looks at vacations, just because everything is taken care of. It's so immersive, it's so hands-on. You'd mentioned about not getting into arguments. It works the same for my family because the day's laid out for you. You wake up and you're not deciding, well, what are we going to do today? There's an agenda. There's a time that breakfast starts. There's a time that you're going to be on the coach.
I love that.
Life
is so good when it's structured like that.
Come on, kids, your junior adventurer guys are waiting for you. Let's go. Now ours are a little older now, and 16 and 18. They're traveling more with the adults. But even on Quest with the West, we found them, sitting at the kids' table, some, and kind of slipping back into that. So, at times they're with the adults, at times they're with the kids, and it works out great. But still, there's an agenda, whether you're an adult or whether you're a child, and there's something to do. Your day is planned out, your day is full, and your day is relaxing at the same time. So there's off times and there's things to do. And it really is, in my opinion, the best way to take a family vacation, or take any type of vacation now. So,
well, like I said, I'm a lucky guy. I somehow landed here, and I'm staying.
And you're the new guy on the block, so we really appreciate you taking time, Josh, to come out and talk with us and tell us more about what's coming for 2012. I couldn't be more excited about this product. I know that you guys are tweaking it and improving it and adding more. But it was such a quality product to start with. It can only get better from here. So
we appreciate
thank you very much, Josh, for being here.
Thank you very much.
It's awesome. Well, it was awesome having you guys here to talk more and learn more about Adventures by Disney now and coming in 2012. Josh, thanks again.
My pleasure.
How it works is you get to ask these guys a question. They're going to leave a comment below on our blog. You can ask anything in the world you want to ask. Anything. It can be about Adventures by Disney. It can be about Disney, or it doesn't have to be. Whatever you want.
Okay.
You ask them, they leave a comment.
Okay. All right. Well, because we operate all around the world, and we're always looking for new places to go. I know the answer to this question. I'm not just asking. How many countries are there in the world?
Wow. Great question. So get your Google out and check it out and leave your comments below. Thanks a lot for watching. Look forward to seeing you right back here on another episode real soon. And thanks again for being here, Josh. It was an awesome time talking with you.
Thank you.
See you guys again real soon. So long.